the worst time of day for your Zepbound injection and Mounjaro injection, and also the best day to take your Zepbound injection and Mounjaro injection. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have been on GLP-1 medication, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and Tirzepatide compound over the last almost 2 years, losing a grand total of over 100 pounds. It's so crazy to me to say that, having been morbidly obese for decades, then now to be physically fit, of where I'm walking multiple miles per day. I'm an active wife and mom and entrepreneur, and to be living life to its fullest. And I'm really excited on today's episode to talk about one of my favorite topics. Is the worst time to be taking our injection. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And then also time of day. Now, this is my experience, strength, and hope. My whole intention of this video right here is to encourage you, hopefully to help motivate you, and to facilitate a conversation with your healthcare provider, because I'm not a healthcare provider, nor do I pretend to play one on the internet. So always talk with your own healthcare provider. I love Join Fridays. Use the discount code QUEEN. Let's dive in to the step-by-step approach for you figuring out and walking away from this video entirely of the best time of day and action steps for you to figure out for taking your Zepbound injection or Mounjaro injection, and the best day to take your injection. Let's reverse engineer and think with the end in mind of when we are figuring out our time of day, we're also figuring out the day. And so when we talk about time of day, what I want with my handy dandy little picture here is figuring out, do you want to have side effects? Or do you want to lessen the side effects? Now, our most common side, there's some gnarly ones, talk to your healthcare provider about those, but the most common side effects are gastrointestinal, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. I hadn't experienced until a few months ago. And so in terms of talking about those side effects of, do we want to enhance those? For me, sometimes there's certain things that I have done to enhance those or minimize those. For me, having a little bit of nausea actually has not been a bad thing because it's helped aid in my weight loss journey. Some people don't like that. It's totally up to you if you want to use this to your advantage or not. And sometimes you can't use them to your advantage at all. It just is. But there's certain things that we can do. So yes or no, or maybe in between. How do you figure that out though? Well, first you need to know what the best time is and how you feel through tracking. I have 2 free trackers over at countessofshopping.com. My free resource for all things GLP-1 and weight loss journey is a side effects tracker that I've created. It's a printable, totally free. I'll link it down in the description link below, as is all my free resources and resources I'm talking about today. There is a free tracker. Track your data. Your data is going to be different than mine. Because we have different bodies, different varying degrees of different degrees of obesity management, and obesity is a spectrum. So tracking your own data is going to empower you to have information. And then also I have a Zepbound checklist of what to do on Zepbound shot day, of what's been really, really helpful for me. And so figuring out that data is like the first step of this. Figuring out when you're going to feel the most from your injection. For me, typically it starts off kind of like a roller coaster. Tick, 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 like you're going up those wooden roller coasters. Tick, 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 you're going up. For me, I start to feel it around the 12-hour mark and really to 36 hours of peak excellence up there. About the 24 to 36 hours is peak. But around the 12-hour mark for me is when I start to feel these things. I'm sure that it varies for other people, but that is what I have over the last 2 years of my own data of tracking, tweaking, feeling, seeing what has helped for my side effects. And so, figure out terms of the shot times, then we need to go over and look at our clock. We're going to talk a little bit about this too, about then what do we do with this once we have it. But for me, when I did not want to have side effects, I wanted to be super productive and maximize the best time of day for my injection was 3 p.m. for me. Now I've been on Zepbound 15 milligrams. I need to go up to a higher dose. There is no higher dose. So once other drugs come out, GLP-1s like cagrilintide or retatrutide, if they do get approved from the FDA, cagrilintide should be coming out hopefully here in 2025. It has not yet been approved by the FDA though. So hopefully I can get on those, and then I will be back in this ball of wax of figuring out again and tweaking and working with these timeframes. But for tirzepatide injections, 8 a.m. used to be bad for me. I had tested morning injections and it did not fare well for me because, again, I go back to that time of day. For me, I would feel it at, where are we? The 12-hour mark. At the 12-hour mark. So if I started taking it at 8 a.m., then I'd feel it at 8 p.m. And that wasn't a good time for me. Now I actually really like taking my injection in the morning. I'm like, oh yeah, because sometimes I forget. How could you forget? After paying out an arm and a leg for my injection, how could I possibly forget? But 8 a.m. for me is now kind of my jam. I also have tried it at 8 p.m. or right before I went to bed. So I've tested a variety of these. For me, my old tried and true was like 2 to 3 p.m. because then I would start to feel side effects around 2 or 3 a.m. and then it would start to build from there for the next day would really set me up for success. So in terms of appetite suppression, mainly appetite suppression with that. So, and then like mitigating the side effects, although side effects can just happen just because they happen. So, because that's part of the side effects from like the manufacturer Eli Lilly, and that there's not, I can lessen those, but also sometimes it just is. So going back to the best time, for me, it was 3 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. That worked well for my schedule. But one of the things I want you to think about in terms of your side effects is sleep. For me, the most imperative thing out of this, one of the top like 3 things, is my sleep. Switching over to BIOptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough, I highly recommend, particularly going into the new year, new you, having your sleep on a weight loss journey. These are what the pills look like. Magnesium Breakthrough, it has 7 types of magnesium in them. Did you know that more than 70% of people have a magnesium deficiency? I have bought from Amazon another magnesium supplement and only had 1 type of magnesium. I'm like, why am I taking 1 pill with 1 magnesium when I can take 1 pill with 7 types of magnesium? I have the data on my Oura Ring to track my sleep and how much this has mattered. But I come to find out that my whole intention was sleep. But then it has helped with things like Mounjaro constipation, Zepbound constipation. Has helped with things also like anxiety for me, for sure. It's been very helpful on that, but muscle recovery, because I do lift. Still working on that muscle there. She's still working on it. But the muscle recovery component has also been huge with the Magnesium Breakthrough. You can use the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN, and the link is down below in the description. That has very much helped with my side effects. So for example, if you're having blowout diarrhea, at least you can be more well rested. And of course, if we're taking any supplement, always talk to your own healthcare provider. But for me, I take 2, sometimes 3 of these at nighttime. And I take it at nighttime because it helps me kind of wind down for the evening and go into a gentle sleep. I'm obsessed. I could shout from the rooftops about how much I love BIOptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough and how much that has mattered in terms of my efficiency with the time of day when I take my Zepbound. Taking my magnesium has helped level things out for me a little bit better. Literally within a few weeks, I was like, man, I started to feel after a couple of weeks, my body was feeling better as a result, and the side effects were lessened. And I felt more apt to do walking, lifting, meal prep, and planning other foods that would be helpful and beneficial for my body. So going over in terms of the specific times of day, it comes to one of 2 things. I meant to make a picture and I didn't. It's right there of, do you have a traditional work day? And if you do, I like to frame it in 2 ways. One is like the weekdays and then the weekend of when is best for you to take your shot, weekday, weekend. Some people are like, their jam is taking it on the weekend. Some people, their jam is taking it during the weekday. For me, I loved weekday. I, in particular, really loved taking it on like Monday, because then I would start to feel it on Tuesday, Wednesday. And for me, I'm a workhorse. I love to work. And so I could power through working, ride that appetite suppression. I didn't have that many social engagements, typically on like a Tuesday, Wednesday. And so that for me worked really, really well to dive into my work and be productive. Or if I wasn't feeling as well as I wanted to because of side effects, or if I titrated up, we know on titration up days, that's going to change how we feel, buffer in extra times for having more side effects with it. But by taking it on Tuesday, then I could have the end of the week to push it harder if I didn't feel so great. And then also with my social engagements, that was something to take into play too. I know some people really want to make sure that they're eating and they're drinking and they're being merry. For me with social engagements, I'm like, if you want appetite suppression during those timeframes, then maybe taking it on Thursday. because then you start to feel it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For me, not eating over the weekend, or not eating, but eating less because of the appetite suppression, I didn't like that. That's me. You need to do you. But for me, I had slowly started to not mitigate, but move my shot date um, to switch it around to make it on Tuesday. And you may say, Elizabeth, how did you do that? Well, first and foremost, I talked to my healthcare provider. Always talk to your healthcare provider. Again, this is not medical advice. This is simply but my experience, strength, and hope to help you engage in dialogue with your healthcare provider. But with my healthcare provider, they had given me permission to tweak a few hours, like, hey, you can move it 10 hours or so. Like, you know what I mean? Like each time you can move it with your injection, and that eventually moved the days, right? It wasn't this broad sweeping, oh, I'm going to move it back 5 days. No, that's not optimal. But I was allowed to move it, 10 hours, 12 hours type thing. And that worked really, really well to get to the day that I wanted to. Also, I've done that before too, on going on vacations and trips, of slightly shifting and adjusting my day in terms of shot day over a period of, that takes a hot second. If you're even just for easy math, 10 to 12 hours, that takes, over a months plural, to move it to the specific day. So figuring out, and some people, they want to take their shot on the weekend, so then during the weekday they feel great, or feel better. So it's up to you, and with what your occupation may be. We have different jobs, we have different times. Some people, if they're on call at nighttime versus daytime, as a mom, or if you're a mom to little children, I don't know, God bless people with little kids who are taking GLP-1 medications. Thankfully, my son is 9. Typically on my shot day, the next day, my husband knows I'm going to be tired. I'm going to need to have extra grace, and I'm going to need nap time. I really do. And so that I'm very blessed and fortunate. I fully understand that, to have a partner who works with me in terms of care for our son as a contributing partner, that I can rest during that time frame. But that's what you need to figure out. And you're really not going to be able to figure that out until you track. A track number grows. And so you can use this. You can even create your own on your phone if you want. Some people use it in Google Calendar as an option. There's a number of different ways that you can do it, as long as you do it. I would love to encourage you and challenge you, track it for the next 3 months. See what happens over your next 12 injections, because one of the other things that I didn't know in this good old side effect component of it was where I did my injection. For me, where I do my injection matters. It matters. It matters. For some people, it doesn't matter a hill of beans. For me, it does matter. The back of my arm makes so much appetite suppression, and I definitely do have more side effects. That's me. Now, we have other people in the comments, and I love all of our beautiful counts and countesses in the comments who are like, with their experience, strength, and hope of how doing the stomach has maximum results for them, appetite suppression, and they may have more side effects with that appetite suppression. That's where, again, attract number grows. And so that's why I really want to encourage you. It is not a waste of your time to have your own data. You will want that. And that's one of the things that has been so helpful for me now on the highest dose of Zepbound, 15 milligrams. There is nowhere else for me to go. And same thing, Mounjaro, 15 milligrams. Same thing, 2 different FDA approvals, same medication by the maker of Eli Lilly. Having this information is helpful because I titrated up way too quickly. I wish I had titrated up slower, because now I'm at a ceiling, and I'm grateful I'm there. I'm really grateful I'm there, and that's where maximum weight loss has been for me. But it has been, I wish I could have had that titration up. You know how sometimes you get, not every time, but sometimes you titrate up and you're like, whoo, there's like a whoosh of appetite suppression. I don't have that. And so the appetite suppression is really working on my protein and workouts, and it's really made me refine my health and wellness to make these lifestyle changes in terms of lifting and in terms of eating fruits and vegetables. And as I walk through this, I want to encourage you, your journey is going to be different. I had 130 pounds to lose. I've lost 100. I'm now down 30. I have 30 left, meaning, but like, I'm in a size medium top. This top is me. I'm like shook. Like literally, I'm like, who dis? And my pants, I'm wearing sweatpants. You guys know it's like a mullet. It's business on the top, party on the bottom. So I got some sweatpants on. They're size large sweatpants. I've never worn size large sweatpants. I don't know, since like high school, maybe middle school, like I'm sure high school, but this is crazy. This is nuts. And so I want to encourage you to keep going. If it is uncomfortable, I can look back in hindsight, and again, not for severe side effects, but for discomfort of diarrhea, constipation, nausea. I am so grateful I kept pushing through the discomfort to now be comfortable in my skin, of being able to wear clothes that are fun. And I had cute plus size clothes, but they're cuter now, I think. There's more access and availability to them. I'm able to run and play with my son. I'm able to walk in things like parades. I walked in a parade this past weekend, ride roller coasters, wear skirts. I just wore tights for the first time last week, like crazy non-scale victories. Ride a horse, things that I never would have imagined I've been able to do as a result of this. And this is why I want to encourage you for your journey, figuring out the best time, going back over to it, that it may be midday for you, and that may change. Like I said, now my favorite time, that used to be, and now I'm on the 2-year mark. I love me some 8 a.m. I love to get her, and it helps me with my mindset. I just feel better when I take it in the morning. And then I know by nighttime, I'm gonna start feeling tired, but really not until the next day. And that's okay. And I put that in my schedule. I particularly really like taking my shot, like I said, Monday, Tuesday, because then I can power through my work weekday and really not have to focus in on meals as much. And then when we do have social obligations on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can eat a little bit more. I have more of an appetite suppression. I was finding there was a pocket, and I don't know if anyone can relate to this. And if you're new, maybe this is not the best strategy, but if you are on Zepbound or Mounjaro for a while, I started to get really, I don't know what the word is, resentful that I couldn't have yummy foods. Like the pleasure of eating, people have talked about this before, that I really was getting annoyed that I couldn't indulge in food. And being morbidly obese, there clearly was a very unhealthy relationship with food that I've worked incredibly hard on to help heal. But I think that there's a difference between having some enjoyment with food and then like going overboard, a smorgasbord of overboard. And so now have learned and continue to learn to be able to have fun, yummy foods. Like for example, my mom made me, it's a tradition, she makes me homemade Chex Mix for the holiday, for Christmas every year. I get so excited about it. And this year I was like, hey mom, I want that Chex Mix. I want it way earlier, if possible, earlier in December, because I am going to stop eating like Christmas cookies and stuff like that January 26th. So I don't want to get this on like January 25th as my gift, because that's not going to help my health goals. Can we have that earlier? And so learning things like that in conjunction with the times, like it's like Mario. Do you guys remember playing Mario on Nintendo? There's different levels. So this is like the ground floor level. And then the next level of that then is working your schedule around it. Do you have weekly commitments with your family that you need to be doing every week? For me, I know there's a certain day I go to church every single week. It's not Sunday. It's another time that I go to my spiritual worship. And I know that I have that every single week. And so factoring that in with my schedule of when is the optimal shot day and shot time, because I am actively involved with that. There's other commitments with work, family commitments, that you may know that you're going to be having in terms of your time of day in your day that you do your shot, that it may not be optimal or may be optimal. Because my whole big ball of wax is I want this to be a lifestyle change. This is not a flash diet for me. I'm trying to think. My husband and I were laughing about it because my husband and I met. We were it was my 3rd day at college at JMU. Go Duke Dogs, at a keg stand. And my hot husband has known me since I was a teenager, and I've been on every diet known to man. He's known me as super skinny, and then all the way into being morbidly obese. Bless him, that he stayed with me this whole time. And so him knowing me, he's like, I've known you to be on a diet, off diet, on a diet. He's like, the fact that you've been on this for 2 years, and not only been on it, but kept it off. And he kept reminding me that too. When I was at my weight stall, I was stuck at 93 pounds down and like stood there for a while, and then 98 pounds down, stood there for a while. He's like, but you're not gaining. He's like, every single time you would gain previously and you're not gaining. And that is a gift. And he's right, it is a gift. And so keeping that in the back of my mind too, of when I have these weight stalls, changing some of this up may be beneficial. Changing up this time of day very much may be beneficial. And so I want to encourage you, you are not alone in my free encouragement group, tons of free resources for you. Those free printables, free encouragement group, and then on the blog countessofshopping.com, there's other articles on there, like what's the best protein powder that's worked really, really well for me. Like there's a bunch of different stuff that we've got some great articles on there to help aid you with your own journey. Because your data, like at the end of the day, you need to figure out what works best for you. But I hope that my daily show is part of your daily encouragement, part of your daily routine. Your accountability question today, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down in the comments below. And get your magnesium breakthrough. Use the discount code QUEEN. There's a bundle set going on currently right now that may be for a limited time, but there is an extra discount with my QUEEN code on the link down below on BIOptimizers.com. on that specific link. And then they have a ton of other stuff. You guys know I'm obsessed with their proteins and collagens and all of it. I just love BIOptimizers. Get all the free stuff. Go ahead and run over if you haven't gotten the magnesium breakthrough through BIOptimizers. And our emoji of the day today is going to be a camera, because that's your reminder to take your before and after pictures if you haven't done so. They are so motivating for me. We don't have to be relying on the scale to see progress. Photos matter. It's fun to look back on these photos and videos I've had, and I just chuckle now. Like when the memories pop up, you guys have that on your phone where your memories pop up? I'm like, that is awesome. I look so different. I look so different. I have a neck bone. She has a neck bone. So, which is exciting. So my sweet friends, I love you guys so super much. Put down below your emoji of the day. That helps to get me to get to know you better because I truly do care. The repetition of seeing your name over and over and over again helps me to get to know you. We also had a super fan. I don't know what the word is. What it's, hold on, let me pull it up. Of somebody who was so sweet. Yeah, no, they're called super fans. Where she gave $5. It was so sweet. Let me pull up who it specifically was so I can give recognition. It was the sweetest thing. Deborah, that was in my Moira Roy's voice. Deborah, thank you, Deborah. That's so sweet. Thank you for it. It's called Super, what are they called? I want to say super fan, but I don't maybe that might not be the word. Super, it's called super thanks, not super fan, super thanks. So super thanks right back to you, Deborah. You're the best. Thanks for that $5. That was that was really thoughtful. And our other community, YouTube has this new thing. It's called Community Spotlight. Is Mindy, Thelma, Angie, Dawn, Angela, Gammy, Rebecca, Tia. Thank you guys. There's more, of course, Abby. My sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a great day.